Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This is part 2 of Supercharged Sales, a free digital marketing webinar of a 3-part series. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm waiting for my co-host. He should be joining us shortly. So today we are going to talk about email marketing, specifically why it's so important for multi-line dealerships, really any dealership, but specifically multi-line dealerships, to segment the heck out of their email marketing list. Okay, a lot of dealers out there, they have various, at the very least, different type of customers where you sell new units to, you sell used units to, you sell parts and accessories, and then also you service their vehicles. Those are 4 or 5 different pieces of the pie, and having them under just one big umbrella or one big list and sending them email marketing material is actually counterintuitive. And the reason for that is that your subscription rate is much higher, which is costly, very costly for the dealer. You get a lower open rate, you get a lower click-through rate as well. Okay, obviously all of those things are important because your primary purpose of sending an email blast is so that you can have interaction with your customers, whether it be so that they can engage you on a sale, they can participate in your events, or have them just come in and purchase a new unit from you, and upgrade, or even just for the sole purpose of having them trade in an old one and you're looking to expand your inventory on used vehicles, right? So segmenting your email list is crucial. I can't stress that enough. It is critical. It's very, very important. Okay. And so that's one of the topics that we are going to discuss today. Another topic that we're going to discuss is what the heck are web listings and online reviews, right? I think most of us at this point probably know what online reviews are, but how do you go about handling them? How do you go about managing them, responding to the reviews you get, and what's the best way? And what are web listings? People are like, they just really have no clue. How do they affect your ranking for search engines, right? Very important. So we're going to cover those 2 main topics. All right. So my co-host is not here just yet, but I'll tell you a little bit about Derek. Derek is with DS1 Consulting. He's a power sports coach and consultant. Okay, he really has an impressive background, but he's the macro guy. He overlooks all your departments and helps on really fine-tuning how things run. Okay, he's really awesome at what he does, and I would really not do him justice. I would love for him to be able to tell you. Just hit him up if you have any questions about any help that you may need. His email's right there on the screen, dsanders@ds1consulting.com. As for me, my name is Joe. I'm with Beyond Creative. I'm a digital marketing consultant. And my agency, Beyond Creative, we have a passion for helping out companies in the power sports, marine, and RV industries, particularly dealerships. We have realized that dealerships and really just the power sports industry, RV and marine, are just grossly underserved by the software industry. They treat the power sports industry like the redheaded stepchild. And so we want to change that. We're passionate about helping in every sense of the word for marketing, particularly in digital, to help dealers compete and have an edge in this new day and age where technology can be very, very, very daunting. And so that's what we specialize on. We really bring you up to speed. We get your team interacting with your potential customers, with your current customers, and we help you get that wow factor from your clients. Okay, so let's jump right in. What is list segmentation? Okay, that's the first topic. Email marketing, particularly list segmentation and other key aspects of it. Okay, now, when you have a well-segmented list, you're going to get superior results. So you're going to get a much better click-through rate when you segment your list. The reason for that is actually very simple. It boils down to the value that you're presenting to your customers and prospects, right? If you know that I'm interested in underwater basket weaving, right? And you send me an email on, I don't know, lacrosse. I'm not really going to click on it. I like underwater basket weaving. I may not even open it, right? All of those things are important because not only may I not even open it, I may actually even mark you as spam, and that's going to hurt your sender reputation. So it's not only critical to segment your list for when it comes to open rates and when it comes to click-through rates and even giving value, just that human factor, but it's also very important even to just keep a good, or build, for some of you that don't already have a good sender reputation, right? Sender reputation is everything. It's going to be what helps you accomplish landing on somebody's inbox as opposed to just going straight to spam. So that's a really, really, really important factor to keep in mind. Your open rate is going to be much, much higher. Your spam rate is going to be much, much slower, and your click-through rate, right? Ultimately, you can land on people's inbox, you can get open, and it's great. And then if people don't do anything, well, that kind of stinks. So click-through is very important. So a question I get a lot that I want to share with you guys as the next part is, what email providers are out there that are good? Now, in my experience with the power sports industry, they're your traditional power sports specific, and they do an okay job, right? They integrate with your website, with your CRM. There's a typical VSEP. You've got your DX1, your ARI, Dealer Spike. There's even PSX Digital, which is kind of, in my opinion, more up and coming than the other. But I want to share with you my personal favorite, and the list that I have here on my outline, which I'll share with you at the end of the webinar, and kind of in this order, right, is HubSpot, all right, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Campaigner, and Aweber. So let's start with our list of really what are the top email providers out there, right? And I have mentioned to you already that amongst them is HubSpot. Now, HubSpot's very cool. It's my personal favorite. I'm going to try to give these to you in order of kind of the more expensive to the least expensive. They can be a little tricky to figure out with regards to what you're going to pay and what the price is going to be, because all of them do it a little different. They have different thresholds and all that, and they're very based off of how many subscriber count you have. Okay. But it can be sometimes very difficult to interpret and all that. So we're doing this so that way you can keep this video, and later on it could serve as a guide for you to price these out. So HubSpot, as I was saying, is my favorite. Their CRM is free, and the reason why I love HubSpot so much is not even so much with the email capabilities that it has, which are phenomenal. Okay, it can do amazing list segmentation, but more than anything because their platform starts out with a free CRM. That's the heart of it. Okay. And from the CRM, they've got content management system, CMS. They've got Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, Service Hub. So you can expand on your $50 a month for Marketing Pro. Or I should say, you can expand on the free CRM and then go to Marketing Starter for just $50 a month to keep expanding depending on what you need. And HubSpot's got integrations up to Wahoo. I mean, you can integrate with forms on your website seamlessly, so it captures who filled out a form, and then it goes into your CRM, and then from there you can market to them through your email campaigns. It's really a beautiful system. So with regards to, let's take a pricing point above about 2,500 contacts, right? They charge every thousand contacts is going to be an extra $20 a month. So they're going to work out to be, for about 2,500 contacts, they're going to work out to be somewhere around $90 or so. Okay. Next over, of course, is the very popular and famous MailChimp. It's an excellent platform. They've fanned out besides just sticking to email. So they actually provide landing pages now as well. They help you retarget people that you've hit through email via Facebook ads. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff. Okay. They have automated marketing emails that come through according to what kind of behavior your lead took when you capture their information. So they would be around the $50 a month for the 2,500 contacts, right? Now, let's head over to, of course, Constant Contact. They're one of the oldest in the industry. They've been around forever. I have a love and hate relationship with them, to be honest with you. They're a great system. They do the job. I mean, they really, truly do. I just think their interface can be clunky at times, and in a sense, sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. But don't get me wrong, the technology is there, and it is really a fantastic platform. It's probably going to be about your third most expensive. Okay. They don't have as many integrations. They do have some. Okay. AWeber, it's a very good one. Not as known as the top three that I mentioned, okay, but you get a decent bang for your buck. I mean, as you'll see on here, look at that. That's for 2,500, right on the nose, $29 a month. Definitely one of the cheaper ones. Now we're going to start moving into more cheaper options, right? You've got for starter on campaigner.com, $19.95 for the basic, right? So that's pretty cool right there. That's campaigner.com. And then last but not least, vertical response. And you're talking about $33 or so a month for your basic one. So those are going to be your primary main biggest email providers. Of course, you're going to have the Power Sports specific ones, but these are some really good ones. All right, so what you're seeing here on your screen is a perfect example of a broader list segmentation, right? We've got pre-owned arrivals. Obviously, it goes to people who have shown interest, who are in your list and have been categorized under used units, okay? But I mean, under used units, you can have a plethora of different type of motorcycles or watercraft, whatever it is, in you know the case of your dealership that you sell. If you're just a single line dealer, like a Harley Davidson dealer, and you, even though you guys are not really trying to push used units right now, but if you were to send out an email for used units, you could some further break down and segment your list to interest of particular models. So this is a perfect example of broader, where you send it out to your list of people that have shown interest or have either purchased or have been a lead in the past for used units, right? And depending on what they click, they'll be actually in the system segmented according to their liking. So, I mean, you've got cruisers all the way to street bikes, sports bikes, I mean, you name it, right? So that's a perfect example of that. If we moved over, this one's very similar, all right? It's pre-owned sale. And, you know, every single time that somebody would click on these, they would get segmented. Here's another one that's a little bit more off the cuff here, you know, let's see, Triumph, you know, an off-road, but, you know, you get the idea. Here, it's a little bit more specific because all of these are American. So, you know, it really boils down to brand. So now you're segmenting it by brand as opposed to actually unit, vehicle unit. And this one right here, pretty interesting because now it's cross department, right? You've got new units at the top and you scroll down a little bit, and then now you've got the possibility to be able to segment who's actually interested, who's raising their hands with regards to maintenance, marine maintenance supplies, parts and accessories, right? With this one, similar case, but it would actually be for what kind of unit they like under personal watercraft. And then furthermore, here's a perfect example of how you can incorporate multiple different subjects or topics, I should say, within your email campaign. And, you know, and if people are interested, even if they say not sure yet or see you there, now you know they raised their hand and that's something that's good. They're going to go into that bucket, in other words. So that's a great example too. And let's see, last but not least, this one's a very specific one, right? This one's really just about off-road. But here, when you look at this, you've got 3 different things they can click on that if they click on UTV because they're interested in that, they go into a UTV list. If they click on ATV, they go into an ATV list. If they click on the free Warn Vantage 3000 winch link, you know that they are also into parts and accessories. So these are really great, excellent ways to be able to segment your list, your email list. Let's just summarize a little bit. We went over why it's important to segment your list, okay? I also gave you some really good choices with regards to non-power sports related email marketing services. And also I mentioned the power sports specific one. One thing I don't think I stressed enough, I don't know if I even mentioned it really, was to not just have all of your customers from an entire large database and send an email to that list, okay? It has to be very rare, very specific that you do that. So please be very cognizant of that. It's a big no-no. I really would discourage anyone to do that. It's got to be very important announcements, just very select. Just don't take your entire list. It's very tempting. Whatever you do, don't do it, okay? So I mentioned, a lot of you may have already a list that's broken down by essentially what's really the departments under your dealer. So you may have new unit, used units, you may have service, you may have parts and accessories, okay? And that is better than having no segmentation at all. But furthermore, break down your list by the following categories. Go deeper, right? Break them down by vehicle brands, break them down by vehicle models, break them down by the category. So if you are a motorsports dealer that doesn't do just motorcycles, break down your audience by their interest. Do they like motorcycles? What kind of motorcycles? Do they like off-road motorcycles? Do they like crotch rockets? Do they like choppers, or cruisers? So break it down as much as you can. ATVs, personal watercraft, jet boats, generators, right? You name it, okay? And last but not least, try to add in there also events, right? Break it down by people that may like events and go further than that. If you're doing an event that's specific to a particular category, like personal watercraft, which I actually showed in that video, in that sample, then further break it down by that, or break it down to people who are only interested in coming to see motorcycles. It's all good, okay? I definitely encourage you to do that. Now, within those email providers that I mentioned, not all of the power sports ones have an automated way of segmenting, okay? But the ones that I mentioned, which are non-power sports related, all of those are going to have an automatic way for you to segment your list with ease. It's relatively easy. I'll give you an example. Constant Contact is very easy when you put together an email send or an email blast. They'll allow you to, when you make something clickable, actually determine what list or segment it's going to go into. Now, the different providers call it different things, okay? Some of them call it tags, some of them call it lists, some of them call them audiences, some of them call them segments, but in reality, just know that this is a segmentation of your general audience, okay, of your big email database, all right? And just use once you've put together an email and determine what you want to include, determine how it's broken down by the different categories. Just think about it in the sense of, how can I break this down? And then do so within the actual email blast, okay? Some providers like HubSpot will actually allow you to go back after the fact, after you've sent something. You don't even have to do it in the email send. And that's part of why I really like them so much. I mean, aside their email capabilities, they offer so much more marketing stuff, even just, with a CRM all integrated. But they'll allow you to actually, after the fact of an email send, you don't even have to note anything. You can create a list based on who clicked on what particular links on past emails. So that's really, really neat, okay? Let's see here. All right, cool. So I'm going to give you guys some extra valuable nuggets before we jump on. We're right around halfway point, and I got to speed it up for any questions that you guys may have. But want to give you guys some extra value nuggets here. When you're sending out an email, it's not related so much to segmenting. It's just email deliverability and open rates in general. Your subject line is critical, right? Obviously, it's what speaks to your potential audience, what's going to get the email opened, but also, it makes an enormous difference on whether you go into spam or not. And the things that you think are actually going to affect whether you go into spam or not are probably incorrect. And the reason why I say that is because when I first started myself really realizing what sends things to spam or not, I was actually surprised. Now, I use a tool that not a lot of people know about, and I want to share with you here today, okay? It's super, super useful. It'll help your open rates tremendously in your deliverability. And it's called subjectline.com, okay? So go to subjectline.com, get into the habit of, before you send any emails out whatsoever, okay, go into subjectline. Subjectline.com is going to help you determine if your subject line is too long for mobile, if it's too long in general for desktop, the stop words that you should not use in your subject line, if you have everything in caps, if you have words that are more likely to land you into spam, you name it, right? It actually encourages you to use particular words in particular formats, and it'll make you aware of those things. So it doesn't just tell you what you're doing wrong, it actually will help make some suggestions. So I would just go in there, and the next time you have an email blast scheduled, test various different things and see how you can, really get the best out of your subject line. So that's one of the nuggets for today. The other thing I have for you guys is I want to encourage you to try using videos in your email. Now, there are some services out there like BombBomb. BombBomb.com will natively include video and email, but video and email, but video and email is very tricky, right? Because a lot of email clients like Gmail won't actually play video unless it's, for instance, from YouTube. Then they'll play it right then and there. But if it's hosted somewhere else, like on your website or Vimeo, they're not really going to play right then and there from the email. So BombBomb bridges that gap quite a bit. It's still not perfect, okay? So the next best thing to that is to actually include just a still image with a play button on it, so people know that they're going to be clicking over to a video. Okay, you'd be surprised of the amount of engagement that you get from that. So that's tip number 2. Try really incorporating video into your email. The way that we're doing business nowadays has totally changed, and people get way too bombarded. Give them something enticing to click on. Okay, let them know that they're clicking on a video, and they'll be more likely to consume your content, because video is really where it's at with regards to how people are consuming content online nowadays. My third one, and definitely, and last for email, but not least, definitely not least, is to try including animated GIFs in your email campaigns, okay? So you guys saw some of the examples on the emails that I sent, and they're pretty cool, right? You can really show some awesome movement. Those things that you saw in those emails I showed, those examples were not videos, they were actually GIFs. So try saving. You could take some video and then saving it, exporting it from Photoshop into GIFs. You just have to make sure that they follow the parameters of size-wise for your email provider, and you guys are all good. And so those are my really important nuggets for today. Really try those out. I guarantee you that your emails are going to improve with a lot of those things, okay? So over to the next portion of part 2 for today's webinar, right? It's web listings and online reviews. What the heck are they? What are the benefits of them? So what are they, right? Web listings, also known as citations, okay? It's simple. Really what they are is profiles with your business's information, all right, that are listed in online directories, different online directories, okay? Some examples of online directories where listings reside are Google or Google My Business, Facebook, your business profile, your page is actually a listing, okay? Foursquare is another big one. Yahoo Local, Yellow Book, MapQuest, Merchant Circle, the Better Business Bureau, they have a directory as well. Yellow Pages, one that is pretty infamous, Yelp, okay? So there are some really good examples. Now, the more listings or citations that your business has on the web, on these directories, okay, the more that search engines are going to notice your website, right? These listings are sometimes created on your business's behalf without you being aware of it, and may actually have incorrect data that will hurt your rankings. And the reason why is because search engines like Google will look at all these different listings, right? And what they'll do is that they will, they'll actually determine from the information on each of those listings, how much of it they can match up to say, yeah, that's that business, that's the correct business, okay? If one of those listings are incorrect, there's a couple things that can happen. Number one, they're going to think you're sloppy and lazy, possibly, and that you can have your listings properly formatted and, correctly, listed on directories. Or number two, they're not going to really know that you are that business, depending on the severity of the mismatch, okay? So it's a big deal to actually have accuracy on your listings, right? Now, the more locations your company has, the bigger the possibility to have errors, obviously, on listings, because each listing is typically created for one location. There are some directories that include multiple location listings, but for the most part, it's a listing per location. And there are thousands, okay, of directories out there to list your business at, but really about less than 50 have a really impactful and high authority. Primarily the 10 that I mentioned earlier on are your biggest ones to be listed on. You definitely want to be listed on. And also, this doesn't really apply for dealers today, but if there's somebody who's watching today who's just e-commerce solely, just a word of caution, do not get yourself listed on local-based directories like Yahoo Local or Google My Business, or even Yellow Pages. Okay, you don't want search engines to see you as a local business, because what happens with Google particularly, but really all search engines do it, is they want relevant information to be given to the people searching for businesses around them. Okay, if you're an e-commerce site and you list yourself on local directories, local specific directories, you're going to hurt your national and international search rankings. So shy away at all costs from being listed on local directories if you are an e-commerce. Okay. So on to second part of our webinar. What are online reviews? Very, very important, right? Most of you know. Now, online reviews is feedback left by your customers on listings to inform others about how they rate your business. Sometimes not necessarily done by your customers. I mean, technically, somebody who went in as a prospect into your dealer could walk out if they had a bad experience and leave feedback for you on Google My Business, even if they didn't buy anything from you. But that's essentially what it is. It's their rating on your business. On most of these platforms that I talked about, directories, they have a rating system, okay? And really, these people rate you on there. The biggest one typically are going to be Google My Business, Facebook, and Yelp are typically the top three where most dealers and really even most businesses are listed on. So reviews are critical. What's the reason for that? Search engines use reviews to determine your website's ranking. So aside the information on your listing, they also utilize reviews to gauge the quality of customer service that you provide for prospects and customers alike. And so reviews are important not only to build trust for people that are going to be potential buyers when they're reading about who you are and how you do business, but it's also very important, very critical for the SEO aspect of it. Okay, they're also important, and I mentioned this in part one of this webinar, for keeping your current customers satisfied. There may be something that your current customers did not share with you while they were at the store, and they shied away from sharing that with the sales manager or their sales associate, but they definitely go behind a keyboard and a computer screen, and then they voice their concern. And so you want to address that right away when you're made aware of it, okay? It's important to request reviews regularly without fail from your customers, all right? That's critical. And when I say on a regular basis, I really mean at the bare minimum, once a week. And you definitely want to hit them with a request as soon as it's fresh, the freshest in their mind as possible. So when you get new reviews, one last thing, and that I'll leave you with, that's for this section, that's very critical, is that respond to the reviews. Search engines look at this and they like this, okay? They want to see that you're active. It's really, 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 really important. All right, so now for our extra value nuggets for the portion of the listings and online reviews, right? I want to leave you with 3 companies out there that will help you build trust and will help you manage your reviews. Okay, there are some companies out there like Yext that you can use. You could also use Trustpilot and Listen 360. All right, these are great companies for you to be able to manage all your online listings and also be able to request reviews from your customers. There are more out there, but these are really some of the bigger ones. So I encourage you to use these. They're great. Let me just go through one little last bit of the webinar here with you guys, and it's really what we do at Beyond Creative. All right, this is a simple rundown, breakdown of what we help dealers in the power sports, marine, and RV industries with. All right, search engine optimization, simple enough, but not really quite that simple. And we do web design and development as well. Content through blogging, video, anything really that's online advertising and marketing, social media management, that includes your content and upping your followers, a big one, email marketing campaigns for promotions, anything you name it, right? Or even improving your reviews online. And we also do text message marketing. So if you guys need help with any of those things, hit us up. We would love to help out. It goes without saying, and we could definitely get you rocking on the web, you know, bring you back to compete with the big guys out there and to be able to compete in this crazy world of digital technology.